So, my video debunking Death Battle's episode of Asta vs. Deku did a lot better than I thought it would. So thank you all so much for the support, but because I had to spend a lot of the video explaining Death Battle's many inaccuracies, I didn't get to give my true power scale of Asta. And now a lot of people are interested in what Asta's true power is, because I pointed out how poorly Death Battle scaled him to. This video serves as a power scale for Asta for both people that are new to my channel or the series itself. This is also for my longtime audience, as my Asta power scale from 6 months ago is now outdated, as Asta has gotten considerably stronger since then. I also discovered that the German databook had several mistranslations in it. Unfortunately, both of the statements I used in the databook were some of those mistranslated statements, which makes this video an infinitely better replacement for that one. Now, if you haven't watched my Death Battle response, please do, as I pointed out just how much they got wrong with the video, like inventing fake feats for Black Clover. But it wasn't even just the numbers and the scaling that got wrong, but also how Asta's abilities work and even just basic lore stuff as well. Now, I will be doing my own death battle in the future between Asta and Deku that will feature an animation at the end, but that will be a ways away, as I want the My Hero Academia manga to end so we can see Deku's true full power, and we do know for a fact that the series is going to be over soon, so stay tuned for that in the future as well. This video will only cover Asta's attack potency and durability. I will be doing 2 separate videos that will be a part of this new scaling series. I will cover Asta's speed in one video. In a few days, I will release that one, and then a few days after that one, I will release a video discussing Asta's abilities as well. Now keep in mind, this video will have some spoilers for the Black Clover manga and anime. You've been warned. Now, one of the common interpretations that people have for Asta is that he actually doesn't have any sort of power scaling, at least for things like attack potency, because he uses anti-magic, which means that any non-magical foe would be an insane detriment for him to fight, and that his anti-magic power would be useless. This actually is not the case, like, at all. While anti-magic does work to negate magic, it is still stated to be an energy or a form of power, and we've seen it on numerous occasions work against non-magical objects or entities, like with the Word Devil Zagred, who uses his Word Soul magic to warp reality and cast spells, both made of mana, and that are also purely physical. Asta notices when he activates Storm of Blades, and there are swords that are both magical and physical. Despite the swords not being made of magic, Asta can still parry them away like they're nothing. Later on, Zagred creates or summons this trident, again a physical object that is strong enough to cut off the arm of the first Wizard King, who was one of the strongest characters in the series at the time. Well, Asta, with his unrefined Black Divider, snaps it, which means that Asta's actual physical attack potency against anything non-magical scales to what he can destroy with the sword. We see many other times where anti-magic breaks or cuts physical objects. Basically what this means is that whatever the level of magic power that Asta negates, his physical attack potency would scale weaker, but still at a relative level to that. This brings up my next point, that anti-magic is not an absolute counter to anything magical. If a magic is considerably stronger than Asta, he will not be able to negate it. It's that simple. We've seen this on numerous occasions, like how his Black Divider was not strong enough to negate the Ancient Demon's spell. He needed to transform into Devil Union in order to do so. Now, if you disagree, please watch my Limits of Anti-Magic video, where I essentially prove this by providing the countless times where Asta wasn't strong enough to negate magic, or his anti-magic wasn't strong enough to protect him from magic. What anti-magic really does for Asta is it sort of evens the playing field. He's like a water mage where everyone else is a fire mage. It gives him an advantage over everyone in the verse, but it's not an absolute counter, just like we've seen fire mages straight up burn water magic in the series. But again, watch that video for the rundown. I can't fully delve into that topic for the sake of brevity. But what a lot of people don't realize, that even if Asta had literally zero anti-magic, he'd still be an incredibly powerful warrior. We see this over and over again, like in the Elf Reincarnation arc, Asta punches a member of the Third Eye, Raya. This is a character who was a main member of the villain group in the series, a captain level fighter. Raya, at this point, scales to the Fire Spirit Salamander, who will be the basis for this power scale eventually. Again, this was a physical punch that Asta dealt on Raya, not an anti-magic attack, and it sent him flying away. So yeah, Asta is a physical beast. So I think I pretty much debunked the interpretation that Asta is only strong against magic. Let's get into actually how strong he is. This all starts with the Fire Spirit Salamander. So in the Witch's Forest arc, Asta would face off one of his greatest enemies, Ladros. Ladros would absorb the power of the Fire Spirit Salamander and actually was stated to surpass its power after absorbing it. Asta would be easily defeated, but it would awaken a new power within him and activate his black form, causing the anti-magic power to run rampant, and allowing him to easily negate Spirit Ladros' magic, blitz him, and one-shot him, showing that he's clearly superior to not only Ladros, but the power of the Fire Spirit, which has 2 feats of incredible power in volume 16.5 of Black Clover, which is the databook for the series. The statement is, the sigh of the fire drake heats 1,000 Ri. One swing of its talons also dries the ocean. Now this is actually considerably impressive because the energy required to vaporize an average-sized ocean is over 28 petatons, which is in the tier of multi-continental levels of attack potency. Now the 1,000 Ri statement is also impressive, because 1 Ri is equal to nearly 4 kilometers, though it is a little vague on what the burning actually means. If it means that the Salamander Sai, which is one of its attacks, creates a fireball the size of 1,000 Ri, that's also been calculated to be a multi-continental feat, though if you take into the context that it vaporized an ocean, that it has a range of 1,000 Ri, if it burned 1,000 Ri of water that size, it gets to over 20 exatons of TNT, which is actually 68% of the way to moon level. A lot of people take umbrage with this salamander feat because it takes place in a guidebook, but the guidebook is called Volume 16.5. And remember that Black Clover chapters are actually referred to as pages, because each chapter of Black Clover is really a page of a metatextual book, which in a way canonizes the guidebook as part of the series itself. The author of Black Clover also was part of the creation process for the guidebook and proofread it himself, which means at the very least he agrees with the lore of the salamander. There are several other complaints or questions about the salamander feat that many people question. One of those being, if the salamander is this strong, why didn't we see it produce such a feat in the manga? And my answer to that question is simple. In the Witch's Forest arc, which is the main arc where the salamander is the villainous threat, the area at which they are fighting is another one of those Grand Magic regions. Grand Magic regions are protected by mana force fields, which would considerably lessen the damage of the salamander. Furthermore, the forest was also protected by the magic of the Witch Queen, who was revealed to be more powerful than the spirit anyways. Despite these magical force fields, it was actually stated by one of Fauna's henchmen that she could have used the spirit to destroy the Witch's Forest while in a suppressed state, despite the force fields going on. We also need to remember that Fauna didn't want to destroy the continent or anything like that. The goal of the Eye of the Midnight Sun was to reincarnate as elves and kill all of the humans and retake their land. But the fact that she was strong enough to destroy a small country protected by 2 mana force fields while in a suppressed state of power is impressive and does add merit to the lore. One of the other critiques of this statement is that how does vaporizing an ocean make one multi-continental, and how does burning 1,000 Ri of water make one nearly moon level? The moon is much larger than the ocean, right? Well, let me explain. There are levels of destruction: fragmentation, pulverization, vaporization, atomization, etc. The higher the level of destruction, the more energy required to do so. For example, if I were to punch a large wall and reduce it to dozens of pieces of rubble, that would make me wall level. But if I punched the door in the middle of the wall and obliterated it at an atomic level, that would be considerably more impressive and give me a higher attack potency value despite destroying things at a lesser range. This is the case for the salamander feat. It vaporized an ocean with the swing of its talon. The energy required to vaporize that much water that quickly equates it to nearly moon level because of the level of destruction used. Another complaint about this feat is that we wouldn't know what the size the ocean is. This is what is used for the calculation. An average-sized ocean of our world, they actually even used the smallest ocean on Earth and still got these levels. And the Black Clover world is similar to ours in a way. It literally has Japan on it, and there are many arguments to support that Black Clover is actually even a much larger planet than ours anyways. So if it has Japan on it, then it likely has at least an ocean the size of one of our oceans. The final common refutation of the Fire Spirit Salamander's feat is that people call it an outlier, but it is not an outlier. An outlier is when something happens one time and it doesn't happen again. Remember that the Salamander's, quote, has 2 separate feats, both coming out to multi-continental level, grounding its consistency. Furthermore, there are other characters in the series with a multi-continental level feat anyways, and that's Demon Licht. Demon Licht is the massive monster introduced at the beginning of the series, shown in a narrator flashback, and it was the beast that the first Wizard King was tragically forced to face. The narrator of Black Clover tells us how strong Demon Licht is. Humanity came close to being decimated by the demons, but just one mage saved humankind. That is the narrator with 2 separate statements referring to the fact that if Lumiere didn't stop Demon Licht, humankind would have been wiped out, and this is implied to be in a single blast. If we look at the context of the fight, Demon Licht readies a blast that causes Lumiere to feel despair. He thinks to himself that even if he could block the attack, the Clover Kingdom would still be destroyed, and questions if he can even block it in the first place. The fact that it's stated that even if Lumiere blocked the attack, the Clover Kingdom would be destroyed, means that a fraction of Demon Licht's power is country level, further supporting Demon Licht scaling to wiping out humanity, which is multi-continental. And the narrator said that it came close to happening. It said it almost happened, which implies that Demon Licht was going to do it with a single blast, especially when paired with the statement by the word devil Zagrid, where he said there would be nothing left, with Zagrid's statement implying vaporization, and the narrator's statement that gives both a range and a time frame of immediately happening. We can easily argue that Demon Licht would be at least multi-continental, as Japan exists in Black Clover. The Land of the Sun has similar culture, customs, and even weapons and designs, and has the same exact landmass as Japan on the map. And since the Land of the Sun would be included in the term humankind and humanity, we can at least gauge that Demon Licht would have vaporized the Land of the Sun since there would be nothing left, a feat which has been calculated to be 1 petaton of TNT, or continent level. But when including all the other countries in the world, as well as extending the range of destruction, it levels up to at least multi-continental levels of power. And don't forget that Black Clover has people who live at the bottom of the ocean, which means that Demon Licht would also need to vaporize the ocean to kill them, which harkens back to the salamander feat of vaporizing an ocean in lore. Furthermore, 2 characters named Reeve and Dorothy each created moons in a fight with each other. These moons are often debated about if they are real because both of these characters use a spell called Glamour World, which uses dream magic to create things that they visualize. Though Sally the scientist in Black Clover gave an analysis on the spell and said that whatever things that they visualize, their spell creates the real thing. Since Black Clover has its own moon, that means that it's likely that Dorothy and Reeve also created a moon. This is also supported just by sheer power scaling, because Reeve is a character that's stronger than the salamander because she's an apostle of Sephiroth who scales to Fauna's elf form. Elf Fauna is actually stronger than when she had the salamander, in her human form. Then we get to the big bad of Black Clover's second saga, Lucifero, the king of devils and the evil god of gravity. Lucifero has 3 separate planetary statements, 2 stated within the series of Black Clover, and the 3rd taking place in a databook page. Now sure, Lucifero never destroyed a planet, but the databook page says that it was going to happen after he fought Asta, but Asta defeated him, so it just didn't happen. But he does scale a lot higher than Reeve and Dorothy, who are moon level. Now there is a notable gap between moon level and planet level, a gap of over 2,000 times of energy, or tons of TNT, but Lucifero actually far eclipses that gap. As I mentioned before, Reeve is an apostle of Sephiroth. The leader of those apostles is Licht, who is the strongest of the group. Licht was still weaker than Zagred and could not defeat him, even with the help of the first Wizard King. And after the 6-month time skip, Zagred's power is cliffed pretty quickly, as seen when the leader of the Dark Triad, Dante, toys around with Black Divider Asta, which is far superior than anything Zagred ever did. Dante has access to Devil Power, and eventually can use 100% of it. Devil Power works as a linear increase, as when 100% Devil Power Dante had his power cut in half, it reverted him to his 50% Devil Power form. This means that base Dante would be 100 times weaker than 100% Devil Power Dante, because 1% of 100% is 100 times difference, and base Dante would even be less than that. The Dark Triad at 100% of their Devil Power are compared to the strength of Lilith and Nama, and captains like Charlotte and Rill both scale to the 100% Dark Triad, which means they scale to the Devil Twins as well. And in their fight with Megicula, the evil god of curses, she takes the bodies of 100 dead Dark Disciples and imbues them with her power, making each of them stronger than the baseline level of a Supreme Devil, as even an amped Rill's spells are equal to the cursed forged Devil Disciples. Since Megicula could split her power into 100 different individuals, and all of them be stronger than the 100% Dark Triad, that would make her 100 times stronger than 100% Dante, meaning that Megicula is over 10,000 times stronger than Reeve, who can create moons. Megicula has inferior power to Lucifero, as she is of a lower standing in the Tree of Qliphoth, and if you go by feats, Nozel was able to give her plenty of troubles, but chapters later, Nozel fought a nerfed Lucifero and got dragged, despite being amped by Rill's Twilight Valhalla spell. Lucifero was only half manifested at the time, so half of his magic power and physical strength were still in the underworld. So yeah, Lucifero is planetary, and Asta would use his new transformation, True Devil Union, to defeat him. Unfortunately for Asta, this wouldn't be the final big bad he'd have to face. No, that would be Lucius, the Wizard Emperor. Lucius ordered the Devil Adrammelech to retrieve Lucifero's heart upon his defeat and bring it to him. Lucius would eat this heart and absorb half of Lucifero's power and physical strength. He then invaded the underworld by himself and defeated the King of Devils in his own realm. Upon defeat, Lucius ripped out the other half of Lucifero's heart and ate it, absorbing Lucifero, taking in all of his magical power and physical strength. This would make Lucius in his base form more than 4 times stronger than the Lucifero that Asta had to face, as he would have more than double the physical strength and twice the magic power. 15 months later, Asta would fight Lucius Legratus, despite not even in his strongest form, opting to use a partial version of his devil union, and Asta would more than hold his own. He negated many of Lucius' attacks, and even kicked him and sent him flying away, forcing Lucius to recognize Asta's strength and transform into his angelic paladin state, ultimately defeating Asta with a salute. After his defeat, Asta would be teleported to the Land of the Sun, where he would meet its shogun, Ryu, and Ichika Yami, a member of the Ryuzen 7. They would train Asta in the ways of Zetten. Zetten is using ki to augment your magic power or your anti-magic power into an explosive force, increasing it 100-fold. Zetten users can use it in different ways, whether that be using your increased power into a single unstoppable attack, or by splitting it up into other attacks using percentages of your boost. As of chapter 345, Asta Zetten is used in a single attack. So when you stack Partial Union Asta being 4 times stronger than Planetary Lucifero, and multiply that by the 100 times Zetten boost, you get nearly 6 Yotatons of TNT, and you get large planetary level for Asta. Keep in mind that while Zetten is active, Asta's overall anti-magic is boosted as well, so even his durability would be at this level. There are actually higher ways to scale Asta. I don't think they are as well supported as the large planetary stuff, but there is still evidence for these, so I'll briefly discuss them. Within Dorothy's glamour world that she creates, there are many stars in the sky, which means she created a multi-solar system sized realm. Now people say that this doesn't scale to anyone because it's hacks, but let's look at this. Yami destroyed it with his Dimension Slash. While Dimension Slash is also hacks, he's actually created a new technique that has surpassed the power of Dimension Slash, Death Thrust. Death Thrust is pure condensed magic power, not hacks, so Yami created a power-based ability that surpassed the power of his hacks. So he could actually scale to multi-solar system level based on that, since he destroyed a multi-solar system sized realm. And anybody who scales to or above mid-time skip Yami, which is actually a lot of characters, could be multi-solar system level, and Asta is one of those characters who scales well above that version of Yami. But there's actually a statement that puts Glamour World at an infinite size. Lux says it's endless. Magna argues with him, saying that it's impossible, but Reeve confirms the size of Glamour World by saying that the impossible is possible in her Glamour World. This is her implying that it really is infinite in size, so similar logic follows. Yami destroyed an infinite universe with his hacks, then surpassed that power with pure magic power, not hacks. This would give him and anyone who scales above him, which would be Asta and other characters, infinite power, which is called High Universal, and this is supported by characters stronger than him, also stated to have infinite power or bottomless power. And again, I do see these forms of scaling as valid, but I don't personally really use them because the large planetary is far more substantiated and has far more feats and evidence for it. But if Black Clover gets one more multi-solar system feat or one more universal feat, these would become the more accepted metas. So today's video is sponsored by me and you, and that is the members of this channel. If you want to become a member of the channel, you get access to a bunch of cool different emotes and other rewards, but I want to tell you guys that the biggest thing I am doing now is that for all members, you'll be getting a exclusive member video every single week. If you become a Brigade Captain member, you'll get an extra video per month on top of those one video every single week. And all Wizard King level members will be getting 2 exclusive member videos per week. That is 8 to 9 videos per month at $15 a month, which is less than $2 a video, and that is also on top of other rewards. So if you guys really want to help support the channel and you also want extra videos on the side besides my video projects I'm currently doing, then please become a member. You will get a lot of extra videos as well as helping support the channel. Now, members videos this week will be, is True Lightning Magic only lightning speed? And Wizard King members will be getting an additional video as normal. That video will be my top 5 favorite Black Clover characters. So yeah, that's really how strong Asta is. He is large planetary, but like I said, it's possible that he'll become multi-solar system or even infinite levels of power, depending on how Tabata chooses to write the power progression. Let me know your thoughts of this video down below. Please leave a like if you did enjoy. You can follow my Twitter and join my Discord down below. Stay tuned for my Asta speed scaling video in a few days, and then me discussing Asta's abilities a few days after that as well. So yeah, there's gonna be a bit more videos in the near future just because I want to inform people how strong Asta really is. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Peace out.